Chapter 66. Spirit Nascent Sword Talisman. High up in the sky, golden light flashed erratically from the giant sword, and it was sent flying back for over 1,000 feet before coming to a halt. Before Taoist Closed Mountain had a chance to do anything, the circles of runes on the surface of the sword began to glow brightly, radiating dazzling golden radiance as it came crashing down rapidly toward the giant ape once again. This time with even more power and ferocity than the last strike. Due to the reduction in the number of golden warriors around it, the yellow ropes around the giant golden ape loosened ever so slightly, allowing it to twist around and directly face the giant sword. All of a sudden, it took a deep breath, and its chest swelled up like a balloon before it opened its cavernous mouth, letting loose an earth-shattering roar, while blue light flashed within its eyes. A burst of transparent sound waves that were visible even to the naked eye erupted into the heavens out of the giant ape's mouth. The space up above warped and twisted, and it instantly collapsed, caving in by over 100 feet like a crater left behind by an asteroid slamming into the ground. Causing everything in the surrounding area to become blurry and unclear, this was no ordinary roar. Instead, it was an ability known as the Vajra Roar, which Hunley was only able to unleash in his giant mountain ape form. It was an incredibly powerful soundwave attack, and unleashed by his current physical body, the attack was capable of shattering space itself. Another resounding boom rang out as the giant golden sword plunged into the burst of transparent sound waves with devastating force, only to be stopped cold in its tracks, unable to advance any further as it trembled violently. As the soundwave attack continued, a string of loud cracks rang out, and the dazzling golden light being released by the sword was shattered like a mirror. A slight bulge appeared on the surface of the giant sword, out of which an elderly face that was identical to Taoist Clear Bright's emerged. Immediately thereafter, a series of thin cracks began to appear on the surface of the sword, and before long, it was shattered into countless pieces before disintegrating into a vast expanse of golden light. This was quite a lengthy process to describe, but in reality, everything had taken place in the blink of an eye. Taoist Clear Bright's nascent soul projection re-emerged in mid-air amid a flash of golden light, and it seemed to have dimmed slightly. There was an alarmed look on its face, and immediately flew toward the scroll that was hovering in the sky before vanishing into it in a flash. Almost at the exact same moment, a long gash suddenly opened up on the giant golden ape's glabella, and a huge black demonic eye appeared. It was none other than the Law Destruction Eye, which was capable of piercing through space itself. A black thread of light shot out of the black demonic eye, then vanished into thin air in a flash. In the next instant, the black thread of light reappeared directly next to the antiquated scroll in the sky, then pierced viciously into the nascent soul projection that had already re-emerged. The nascent soul projection instantly exploded into a ball of golden light amid an anguished wail, and immediately thereafter the scroll burst into flames before being incinerated into ashes. "That's the Law Destruction Eye!" Tongrenei exclaimed as his expression changed drastically. This was a treasure bestowed by the immortal patriarch of the Origin Realm Temple. Yet not only had it been destroyed, the nascent soul projection residing within it had also been vanquished, and a grim look instantly appeared on Duan Renli's face upon seeing this. A hint of fear immediately welled up in Taoist Closed Mountain's heart in the face of this development. He had no time to lament the loss of the treasure bestowed upon him by Patriarch Clear Bright, as he was pondering whether it was time to flee the battle. Right at this moment, an even more concerning development began to unfold. All of a sudden, silver light flashed around the giant golden ape's body, and large bursts of silver flames erupted out of his fur, enveloping his entire body. Plumes of yellow smoke began to rise up as the yellow ropes that were restricting the giant ape gradually melted and snapped in the face of the scorching silver flames. After freeing itself from its bindings, the giant golden ape thumped its chest with its fists, then rolled over on the ground to snuff out the silver flames. But what took the place of those silver flames were countless arcs of silver lightning. A giant silver bird that was over 100 feet in length spread its wings and flew out of the arcs of silver lightning. Its feathers looked as if they were forged from steel, and its talons resembled a set of hooks. It was rather similar to the true spirit Kunpeng in appearance. This was another true spirit transformation of the 12 awakening transformations, the lightning bird. An alarmed look appeared on Tongrene's face as he accelerated his hand seals, and the yellow badge revolved frantically as yellow mist surged out of the ground in a frenzy to try and ensnare the lightning bird. Duan Renli also immediately switched to a different hand seal, and the golden warriors formed by yellow beams that were gushing out of the giant yellow gourd in the sky converged toward the lightning bird rather than joining the array. However, with just a casual flap of its wings, the lightning bird transformed into a gust of silver wind that abruptly vanished on the spot, evading the yellow ropes and golden warriors with ease. Before the 3 Grand Ascension cultivators had a chance to react, a bolt of silver lightning suddenly flashed through the sky, and the lightning bird suddenly appeared directly above the giant yellow gourd before clutching it between its talons. A burst of light flashed up above, and the lightning bird and the gourd shrank down in unison. Moments later, Hanli reverted back to his human form, and he was holding a yellow gourd that was around a foot tall in his hands. Taoist Closed Mountain's heart immediately sank upon seeing this, and he hurriedly said, "We're no match for him. We have to run." He then immediately sped away into the distance as a streak of golden light. Tongrene and Duan Renli also followed suit without any hesitation, fleeing the scene in such a hurry that they were leaving even the yellow badge in the air behind. Han Li briefly inspected the gourd that he was holding, and a burst of azure light suddenly appeared over his palm before he rubbed his hand forcefully over the gourd's surface. The golden runes that were engraved onto the gourd instantly became blurry and unclear, and with one final wipe, they were completely erased. At the same time, all of the golden warriors, regardless of whether they were standing in the array down below, were charging toward Han Li, collapsed to the ground as if their souls had collectively left their bodies. Immediately thereafter, they reverted back to countless yellow beams amid flashes of yellow light. The yellow array formed by the golden warriors naturally also instantly disintegrated. Han Li flipped a hand over to stow the gourd away, then cast his gaze toward the fleeing trio in the distance as a cold smile appeared on his face. Silver lightning flashed over his body as he took on his lightning bird form again, and he instantly vanished from the spot with a flap of his wings. At this moment, Duan Renli was frantically fleeing the scene, and he was feeling far from his peak condition. Controlling the gourd and those golden Dao warriors had severely depleted his magic power, so he was flying far slower than Tongrene and Taoist Closed Mountain, and as a result, he had already been left far behind by the 2. Right as he was lamenting his own ill fortune, a burst of buzzing suddenly rang out beside him, and a thought immediately occurred to him, one that filled him with despair and horror. Right at this moment, spatial fluctuations erupted no more than 1,000 feet above him, and a burst of silver lightning appeared, following which a pair of massive talons extended out of thin air. Countless thin arcs of silver lightning were revolving around the claws of the talons, gradually forming a massive circular net of lightning that descended upon him. Of course, as a Grand Ascension stage being, Duan Renli was certainly no slouch. He was already prepared for such a scenario, and a vast expanse of crimson light instantly erupted out of his body as he opened his mouth to release a miniature crimson flag that was several inches tall. As soon as the flag was released, it instantly swelled to around 10 feet in height, and crimson light surged over the flag as it released gusts of gory wind and boundless blood mist, forming an enormous crimson cloud that encompassed Duan Renli's entire body. However, before he had a chance to do anything else, silver light flashed above him, and the lightning bird emerged before folding its wings against the sides of its body, plunging down into the crimson cloud like an asteroid in free fall. A burst of rumbling rang out as silver lightning flashed within the crimson cloud, and the entire cloud was torn into 2 before the lightning bird flew out the other side. Clutched between its sharp talons was a humanoid figure who was struggling and writhing violently like a worm with a horrified look on its face. Black blood was gushing out of all of its 7 orifices, presenting a ghastly sight to behold. All of a sudden, the lightning bird said in a thunderous voice, "I spared you last time because I didn't want any trouble, but I didn't think you would be so foolish. It seems I have no choice but to put an end to your life here." As soon as his voice trailed off, countless arcs of lightning converged toward the lightning bird's talons, and with one final blood-curdling cry, half of Duan Renly's body exploded amid a burst of crackling silver radiance. Immediately thereafter, a dark red nascent soul flew out of his ruined body with a horrified look on its face. But before it had a chance to escape, it was struck by an arc of silver lightning that erased it out of existence in the blink of an eye. Thus concluded the life of a Grand Ascension cultivator who had reigned supreme over the spirit domain realm for tens of thousands of years. Not a single trace of him was left behind in this realm. It had only taken a few seconds for Han Li to put an end to Duan Renly's life, and Tong Rene and Taoist Closed Mountain clearly had no intention of helping their companion. At this point, they were already far away. In the inner city of Blackwater City, Taoist Clear Bright and Layman Bone Flame were still sipping tea while chatting with one another on the 3rd floor of the pavilion, and their conversation gradually turned to matters related to cultivation experiences and insights. Just as the two were having a spirited discussion, Taoist Clear Bright's face suddenly paled slightly, and he threw up a mouthful of blood without any warning. "What happened, fellow Taoist Clear Bright?" Layman Bone Flame hurriedly asked. "The spirit nascent sword talisman that I sent to the spirit domain realm has been destroyed," Taoist Clear Bright replied with a dark expression. "How is that possible? That spirit nascent sword talisman contains enough power to rival an all-out attack from you. Even I wouldn't dare to directly oppose it. In addition to that, they had my Golden Dao warriors on their side as well. How could they possibly have failed to kill that man?" Layman Bone Flame exclaimed with a stunned expression. Taoist Clear Bright remained silent with a steely look on his face.